laugh, the better health I'm in. So what do we got here? Yeah, so people are coming out, so I think I will stick around somewhat longer. And what?
I was worried about.
Yeah, I was a little bit late this morning. And as you know, there's some Sundays where I don't show up at all. In fact, I almost didn't show up today. It was raining. I said, forget it. But then when I stepped outside and thought, well, it's not actually raining, so I came late. But I've had a great protest today. Some really interesting interactions with the public.
Oh, we had a lot of people around. Good.
I'm glad you're well.
Oh, thank you for saying I'm well, because so many inside there say I'm unwell.
See you next week.
Oh, you probably will. I plan to keep this up for my 20th anniversary, which is May next year. So you should see me until at least May next year. Unless somebody beats me to death, if David Horn beats me to death, then you might not.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not, but he's already assaulted me once, so you can see the video on YouTube.
We don't have any signs accusing any Unitarians of murder. You accuse them of everything.
Oh, actually, I've blogged about a Unitarian who strangled his wife to death.
There you are. You've got to get a sign.
No, he was just an ordinary Unitarian. He wasn't a minister. This guy, John, in the past has been quite obnoxious and basically tried to, steal my picket signs, that sort of thing. But he's sort of gotten more friendly over the years. But he's still totally complicit in everything. I mean, it's all very well to have a nice little chat with me, but as long as he doesn't speak out against the various injustices, abuses, and hypocrisy that I'm protesting against, and try to persuade his religious community to start practicing what they preach instead of being outrageous hypocrites, well, then he's complicit and pretty well comes down to being an outrageous hypocrite himself. So, every single Montreal Unitarian who ignores his protest, and that's pretty well all of them, are totally complicit in everything I'm protesting against. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. So, they might be nice, others won't, but, John's being nice, but doesn't change the fact that he's a part of the problem, because he doesn't speak out against the issues that I'm protesting against, and demand that his church locally and the Unitarian Universalist religious community more generally deal responsibly with the injustices, abuses, and hypocrisy that I'm protesting against. And so it goes, as Kurt Vonnegut Jr. would say. So yeah, it's definitely been worth sticking around today. There we go. So yeah, a whole ton of willful ignorance and psychological denial going on here at the Unitarian Church of Montreal. Basically a bunch of Unitarian Universalist ostriches with their heads firmly buried in the sand, which basically makes it very easy for me to come along and kick their hypocritical asses. So, yeah, you want to picture an ostrich sticking its head in the sand, that classic image of willful ignorance. Well, what's just waiting to have someone come along and give it a good swift kick? It's the ostrich's ass. And I like to think that I'm verbally kicking ass here. So I'm just going to have a little look and see if my camera is still recording, because it does occasionally shut off without my knowledge. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, got about 8 minutes of recording time left. 7.5 anyway. So yeah, we'll continue for at least another 7 minutes. We'll let the half-hour segment of video play out, and we'll decide if we want to stay a bit longer. But considering just how many interactions I've had, I think it might be worth sticking around for another half hour, as hopefully more Unitarians come out of church, or as maybe another passerby has a little chat with me. We've had some nice interactions with the public today, and people visiting the Unitarian Church of Montreal and so on. Definitely had some interesting chats. So, yeah, we'll just keep it up for at least the rest of this segment of video, and then we'll decide if we want to continue on a bit longer. But I'm leaning towards continuing for a few more minutes at least after it wraps up at the end of this section of video. We shall see. So yeah, definitely some interesting interactions. I have seen two people who I haven't seen in quite some time, and had interactions with both of them. I'm talking about Montreal Unitarians who I haven't seen. I got a nice little smile from the young lady as she went by. So yeah, you know, as I said, the public, generally speaking, approve of my protest and show moral support in various ways. It's, you know, I'd say that the negative reactions are no more than 2 out of 10, and more like 1 out of 10. Oh, here they come. So, So yeah, this bunch of youngsters, you know, look like they're in their late teens, maybe early 20s. Good day, sir. Very good. It's always a good day when I'm here. Got a nice smile and wave out of that too. So yeah, again, you know, another positive response from the general public, and yeah, no, as I was saying, the response from the public, you know, when people actually do respond, because most don't, most are, you know, basically don't show whether they approve or disapprove of the protest. They just, you know, are basically neutral. But the ones that do show some kind of response generally are positive, and very few respond in a disapproving manner. So, yeah, at least 80%, more like 90% of the responses from non-Unitarians who see my protest are approving of the protest, supportive of the protest, respectful of the protest, and so on. And only 1 or 2 out of 10 show some kind of negative reaction, you know, giving me the finger or telling me to fuck off, that sort of thing, you know. Oh, there's Harvey again. Harvey Shepherd, former religion columnist. Oh, it's always a wonderful day when I'm standing accused of blasphemy by atheist Unitarians, Harvey, you know that. Truly a unique honor and privilege. What a batshit crazy bunch of idiots down at the Unitarian Universalist Association in Boston. Not to mention the Unitarian Church of Montreal, where they are totally complicit in that. Including you, Harvey, sorry to say so. If you don't speak out, you're complicit. So that's Harvey Shepherd, former religion columnist of the Montreal Gazette, who in the past has actually written some pretty good articles about my activities. But when, you know, I ran into trouble at the Unitarian Church of Montreal with Reverend Ray Drennan and other Montreal Unitarians labeling an interreligious event that I tried to organize as a cult, and labeling me psychotic because I'm claiming a religious experience and so on, Harvey never reported that, in spite of being asked on several occasions to do a story about that, get it out there for the public to be aware of the anti-religious intolerance and bigotry that I, and indeed other people, were subjected to by not just Montreal Unitarians, but Unitarian Universalists more generally. But no, Harvey never reported any of that bad news. And he's essentially, just like every other Montreal Unitarian, he's pretty well totally complicit, because I, haven't seen Harvey speak out against any of the injustices and abuses that I'm protesting against. So, no, as far as I'm concerned, he's part of the problem. As a journalist or former journalist, Harvey's well equipped to, try and find out what the actual truth is. The fourth principle of Unitarian Universalism, let's see how much time we got here. So the fourth principle of Unitarian Universalism calls upon Unitarian Universalists to engage in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Well, Harvey hasn't ever asked me any questions about the protest to, get my side of the story. He just sort of like mumbles along there. So no, Harvey basically isn't really interested in the truth. Certainly isn't interested in doing anything about the issues. He's just happy to come to his outrageously hypocritical Unitarian church on Sunday and leave after being fed a pile of bullshit by Reverend Diane Rollert and others. Here comes Mr. Mark Abley. Yeah, another Gazette person who's complicit in Unitarian Universalist clergy views cover-up and denial. Oh yeah, got that recorded. Okay, so yeah, Mark Abley's one of the Gazette employees. He's also a member of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, or at least a regular attendee of the Unitarian Church of Montreal, and he's just as complicit as Harvey Shepherd and Sue Montgomery and every other Montreal Unitarian. But at least 3 Montreal Unitarians, and I think actually 1 or 2 more, are or were Gazette employees, or at least, no, they were all Gazette employees at one time. I think Mark Abley's now a freelance